sidestep Conley, and then the ball came out, and the Badgers recover at the Iowa 14.
9 tackles, 2 TFLs, a forced fumble, and a sack. Have yourself a game, Ryan Connelly, as he and the Wisconsin Badgers took down Iowa and clinched the West Division title over the weekend. Also moved to a perfect 10-0 on the season. The junior linebacker joins us now for our Shell Campus interview. Ryan, congrats on the big win. Let's start with that stingy defense, only allowing 66 total yards against Iowa. How did you do that?
I would say the biggest thing, is during the week we were focused, we were practicing hard, and we were locked in on what the coaches wanted us to do. And when it came to Saturday, it was all about executing, and I think that's at the end of the day, that's what we did.
You only allowed 5 first downs in addition to that. So what specifically about Jim Leonhard's game plan worked against Iowa, a team that had just dominated Ohio State the weekend prior?
Right, I think the biggest thing was, he trusted all of us to do our jobs, and so he wasn't afraid to, let us go. And some different blitzes he dialed up, and, just trusting the D-line to keep working and doing everything they've been doing all year long, and it just kind of freed us up to make plays.
And, Ryan, how did the college football playoff picture motivate this team to prove themselves this past weekend?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is, and, you probably get tired of hearing it at this point, but, the team really doesn't care about that stuff yet. And, everyone in this building knows that we just got to take care of our own business and then let it play out at the end. So honestly, I know it's probably a cliche at this point, but everyone's talking about how it doesn't really matter.
You guys have a steep road ahead. How confident is this group that you guys can continue to win out and prove yourself in that category come December when it really matters?
All right, especially our defense and team as a whole is. We know if we just keep taking care of business and executing the game plans week by week, that we're confident in our abilities, and we're confident as a team we can come together and do some great things.
And you have to be confident about your ability. You have a unique story, a Minnesota native. You were a quarterback in high school. You started as a walk-on with this Wisconsin program. How have you seen your role in your career evolve to this point?
Yeah, like you said, coming in as a quarterback and playing linebacker is pretty rough couple first years, I'll admit. But, just some great coaches along the way, and, teammates that trusted me, and being able to be in this spot today it's pretty amazing, and I can't wait for the rest of the season.
Why did you land on linebacker?
Honestly, first day on campus, I didn't know what room to show up in, and I texted the coach at the time, like, what position am I playing? He's like, go with the inside linebacker. So the rest is history, I guess, from that point.
Who have you learned the most valuable lesson from of all the teammates you've played with during your career?
I'd say, my first couple of years here, just, watching Joe Schobert play linebacker and just how he goes about everyday things, that, that definitely stuck with me, and I try to emulate a lot of parts of his game and what he did day to day.
So what was that moment like for you then when you earned a scholarship after doing some time and earning your right to be on this Wisconsin team?
All right, it was honestly a surreal moment, when Coach Chris announced it in front of the team, and everyone's, happy and genuinely happy for me. And, personally, it was just kind of getting over a mental barrier, knowing that I belonged and that I can actually do some of these things I've been doing. So, yeah, it was just a great feeling overall.
Wisconsin has a tradition of turning out great walk-ons, such as yourself. Your defensive coordinator, Jim Leonhard, also started at Wisconsin as a walk-on. So what has it been like to learn from a leader like him?
I mean, you always see, great examples here at Wisconsin that have come before you and done it before you. So I think, just trying to, take from what they've done and what they're still doing, and just trying to, bring it into your own game and your own way of going about things, and I think that's the biggest thing that I can take from them.
And you also have the luxury of learning from another professional athlete in your family, Anders Lee, a professional hockey player for the New York Islanders. What has he taught you about being an athlete at the peak of their career?
Right, I mean, I guess the biggest thing I can take from my cousin is, simply just, kind of watching him since we were kids. Used to play in the basement, and, how he can make it to the big time. And, it kind of, makes me want to trust myself a little more and, know that it is possible, seeing how much he's achieved and all the great things he's doing.
Let's switch back over to the game coming up this weekend. When you look ahead to your next opponent, like Michigan, with the run game that they present, what's the best way to prepare to shut down that run game?
I think the biggest thing is, you got to be physical, just similar to last week, and I think the biggest thing also is, you got to play gap sound football. You got to make sure you're fitting it well, and you got to stop the run because, like you said, they've been having a lot of success running the ball, and you got to come ready to play on Saturday.
It's two defenses on both sides who are very stingy, who have both won games for their respective teams. And when you look at the matchup between Jim Leonhard and Don Brown, what similarities can you draw on both defenses?
I think the biggest thing, and I've had a chance to watch some of their defense on film when preparing for other teams, and I think we both swarm the ball well. We're always running to the ball, and I think that's what sets defenses apart is, the running to the ball and just swarming.
And you were once a quarterback, and drawing from that experience, you might be able to know what it feels like at a quarterback position. So looking ahead at Brandon Peters, what do you anticipate to see from him on Saturday?
Right, they've gone through a couple of quarterbacks, and, obviously they're going to land on the best one. And, it'll create a unique challenge for us because we really haven't seen him play out too much. And, he's athletic and he knows how to run the offense. So it's a nice challenge for us going into Michigan this weekend.
And Ryan, over the weekend, your team clinched the division. It will be Wisconsin's 5th trip to Indianapolis in 7 years. How do you stay focused on the task at hand and not overlook what you have ahead, knowing that your ticket is punched to Indy?
I think the team wouldn't really be satisfied just going into Indianapolis if we don't beat Michigan and if we don't beat Minnesota. I don't think it's really a moral victory for us at all just to know we have the West clinched. I don't think the team will be happy if we drop these next 2 games. So I think the biggest thing is, we don't want to look ahead because we don't want that to happen.
All right, Ryan. Well, thanks so much for the time, and best of luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you very much.